your new home for podcasts and original music.
The Zagnif One Radio Network.
Nick Saban does not play anybody less than his. He doesn't put anybody less on the field than his very best players.
Bama does what Bama do.
Sorry, I heard a noise. My bad. Somebody just left it on. Left it on my step.
That Colorado defense is definitely underrated, but they ended up pulling it out late. They have one of the players to watch for, Isaiah Spiller.
Oh, it's better. It's better now. Trust me. Like back in the day, there was at least one murder. So, I mean, it's better now.
You realize that you're not doing anything to press your case by getting me to go down there. No, man, come on down there. It was only one murder. Yeah, they're only averaging one murder a year.
And shout out to Florida. They're playing them this Saturday. Number 11 ranked Florida playing number 1 Alabama. So I think that's going to be a high scoring game. And
wow. Well played, Collin. Well played. I did not see that was coming. you get a double finger point, one for me and one for Sean. You know you get.
Here we go. Get your popcorn ready.
What's the big thing?
Hey gang, what's going on? It's your guy, Mr. Fingaz, coming to you from Zagnif Central with a This Week in SEC Football short. Before I go another further and get into it, just want to tell you guys, take a minute and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the share button. Takes a couple of seconds, doesn't cost you an absolute nickel. It just lets people know, hey, come check out what these guys are doing over here This Week in SEC Football. Or drop us a little something in the comments if you agree with what we're saying, and if you want to just say, hey, I think you're an absolute idiot, hey, we'll take that too in the comments. It all goes towards the algorithm, and we know that the algorithm is where the money is. Anyway, moving this thing along, we're in the eye of the storm right now, or should be in the eye of the storm. We got the Pro Bowl going on today. That's kicking off in roughly 26 minutes. Hopefully they play some defense. We shall see. But this is the time of year where you've already gone through college football playoffs. You've already gone through the national championships. Everybody's been crowned. All the awards have been given out. Coaches should be out on the recruiting trail. Pro football, we've already had the conference championships. The Super Bowl is next week. Right now, we should just be kind of on chill mode, waiting for the combine and then the draft and then spring games and all that stuff. And so things don't really pick up really big until the summer with the pro OTAs and training camp and college training camp. And that's where we start hearing about if there are any more transfers coming out, because, oh my God, I thought I was going to be the starting quarterback, but I'm not. So I'm transferring someplace else, whatever the case may be. But we haven't really been able to take a breath because it's just been absolutely nuts. All the coaching changes. And right now, what we got going on, another big story breaking. Most of you have heard it this week. Bryan Harsin, coach at Auburn University. They just brought him in last year to replace Gus because Auburn said, we've had enough fun on the Gus bus. We want off. They brought in Bryan Harsin. This guy came with a pedigree. I call him a kid. I'm a little bit older. I got that. I've realized that I've gotten to that stage in life because folks are starting to call me Unc and OG. So I just have to go ahead and embrace it. But he comes in with this pedigree. He started his coaching career in 2000, right after 3 years of lettering as a quarterback at Boise State. He was with Boise State for a little while. He went over to Arkansas State, had big success over there, wound up coming back to Boise State. He won the Sun Belt Championship in 2013 at Arkansas State. He has 5 divisional titles and 3 conference championships at Boise State and was a Broyles Award finalist. And for those of you unfamiliar, that is the award for the best assistant coach in all of college football. That was in 2009. For those of you that are also unfamiliar, that went to a guy who may or may not have just won a national championship a few weeks back, Mr. Kirby Smart, when he was assistant coach at Alabama under Coach Nick Saban. So the kid comes with a pedigree. He came with a good pedigree. They wanted him to change the atmosphere around the football program in Auburn, to bring some pep in the step, to bring the fire back to Jordan Hare. and looked like he was off to a good start. 6-2 start. The worst loss, well, it wasn't a loss, but it was an almost loss, was a shaky victory over Georgia State, and we all had a good chuckle over that, ha ha ha. But it was like, hey, they're 6-2. They might be able to pull something out of here. Still early enough in the season. But then what happened? We all remember 5 straight losses, including 2 straight back-to-back losses to unranked teams in Mississippi State and South Carolina. And we're not talking about, mind you, South Carolina had a decent season this year for South Carolina with an inaugural season with Shane Beamer at coach. But this is not the Steve Spurrier Gamecocks. This is the Gamecocks with a brand new coach. And Bryan Harsin, with all of his pedigrees and degrees, went down there and lost one. If they wound up finishing 6-7 overall. They wound up losing to Houston. Mind you, Houston was ranked at the time, but we're still talking about the same Auburn program that a couple of weeks before in the Iron Bowl took Alabama down to the final stretch. And even then they had a 10-point lead going into half, and they gave that lead up to lose in overtime. Not that I know anything about being a fan of any team of mine, any of my favorite teams that would give up leads in overtime. But then you've had some players that have come out and just said, we don't want to be here anymore. 18 players have gone since the end of the season. 18 players have hit the transfer portal and are out, most notably quarterback Bo Nix, who a lot of people thought was going to be their, for lack of a better term, their franchise quarterback. He had another year or 2 of eligibility left, and he decided, nope, I'm out. I don't know what they did with Tank Bigsby to convince him to stay. He was in the transfer portal. Bo Nix transferred out. He decided, I'm not transferring. Do with that what you will. I don't know what the story is behind that, but we'll leave that where that is. A lot of players have come out and said he treats us like dogs, and he doesn't relate very well to players that don't come from anything. None of that, no evidence to substantiate or back that up, but these are direct quotes from some players that have had some things to say. There have been some players that have said some things in support of Coach Harsin, and the athletic director has said, right now it's business as usual. Well, I want to believe that, but about 9 or 10, 12 weeks ago, the athletic director at LSU also said there are no plans at this time to get rid of Coach Orgeron. Got to learn to read between the lines at this time, because that wasn't the time. But yesterday's price, as we found out, is not today's price, and Coach O no longer has a job, but he's still getting a nice paycheck. And there's also some other stories floating around that I have zero to back up, so I'm not going to put that out there, but you guys can Google it and figure it out. So is the honeymoon over already within the first year with Bryan Harsin at Auburn? We don't know. And like I said, a lot of these stories, there are things that are being said, but we can't back them up yet. But the very old saying goes, where there's smoke, there is more than likely one of 2 things. It is either a fire, or it is one killer party at Snoop Dogg's house. And in the NCAA, while we are starting to see legalization of the product in the that normally would be consumed at Snoop Dogg's house, we know that NCAA athletes and staff can't consume. So I'm going to lean towards the first one. We'll have more on this story as the story breaks. Collin and I will be on Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The rest of you in the other time zones, you can figure it out. Arizona, you just doing your own thing. We'll just be there. It'll still be on the internet when you decide to check it out. So please make sure you come stop through and don't miss that story this week in the SEC Season 2, Episode 2, with yours truly and my co-host Collin P., the brother from another, the originator of Bama Does What Bama Do. So that's all we got on that this week. What do you guys think? Drop down in the comments. Give us your 2 cents, your 5 cents, your 8.9 cents since you've gotten a raise this year. So, just let us know what you think. We will be back on Wednesday with more about this on This Week in SEC Football. I'm going to get out of here because I got some food I want to go cook, and I'm a little bit hungry. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Collin and I will see you on Wednesday. Holla.